It has been a while since we got the greatest ADC of low elo to show us how it's done and how to carry low elo games. This week, we've sent Hector to his favorite place known as SmurfQ to show us how to carry the type of games that you find yourself in on a daily basis.
I think I won't go just because Verkot's piggy base.
He might slowly be losing his sanity as he plays more and more SmurfQ, and the only thing keeping him going is the small satisfaction of trolling the people that he finds annoying. But that's a sacrifice we at Skillcapped are always willing to make, because he sometimes gives us great moments to talk about to show you all how to carry your own games. So let's get into it. Test yourself and see if you can carry just as well as the greatest low elo player of all time. For our first example, it's all about an emphasis on information gathering. As Hector is playing this lane out, he finds himself in kind of a stale part of the game. His Vel'Koz isn't really pressuring with their minion lead, so there isn't really much to be done at the moment. So, with all of this free time, he notices that there's a top fight going on at the moment. As you should do whenever you have a spare moment, make an effort to glance around the map and see what information you can gather. Of course, his camera panning looks like complete nonsense to us. When you know exactly what you're looking for, then you can digest information a lot more quickly. So, we'll rewind for you to show you the 2 frames that give him the key information he was gathering. The first one is here. Gather whatever information you can from this frame. Then, upon seeing that, he immediately presses tab for an instant to check out the information displayed there. Keep all of that in mind since it'll play a part in a question later into this lane. For now though, Hector knows that the enemy Xin Zhao is topside, so he can play extremely aggressively against the Jinx and Blitz with his superior matchup. Blitz messes up his engage onto Vel'Koz, and this opens him up to run the Jinx out of the lane and making the fight a 2v1. Now all that's left is to chase down Blitzcrank, which results in an easy kill, putting him comfortably in the lead. After the kill, Jinx is being greedy and staying in lane with low health, but it's been nearly a whole minute since we last saw Xin Zhao. Staying to punish this Jinx might be a bait, which could end up throwing the lead that he just got. Based on everything you've seen so far, would you stay and dive Jinx, or leave and be happy with the kill you've already got?
So Xin Zhao can't really be here because he had blue when he was fighting over there, so it's okay to trade kills here. I'm not going to let my Vel'Koz tank, I don't really trust him to do it.
If you got that, well done. For everyone else, here's a complete breakdown of why he was so certain Xin would end up being top. He already mentioned the blue buff, but one thing he forgot to say was that he also counted Xin's CS being at 12. This is a good way of tracking enemy junglers where each of their camps provide 4 CS total when taken. Since Xin was level 3 and had no red buff, Hector was 100% certain that he did blue Gromp Wolves before joining that fight with his team. And he's certain he did this pattern because blue Wolves Raptors doesn't give you level 3. And the only other route that he could have done, blue Gromp Raptors, makes absolutely no sense if you know anything about jungling. There is zero benefit to skipping Wolves to rush to Raptors in most cases. Basically, all of Xin Zhao's bot side camps are down, whereas all of his top ones are still up. So there is nearly a 0% chance that he's bot side at the moment unless he's a complete psycho. Lastly, in case you didn't understand why he was so comfortable trading kills, it's the same reason that he flamed his Vel'Koz right after the kill.
Now of course trading kills there would have been much better if my Vel'Koz just let the wave push harder into me, but it's fine.
Alright, with that fully explained, let's move on to the next example. For this one, we're looking at a game where he got really fed as Kai'Sa during the lane phase. As he and his teammates kill the enemy Ezreal yet again and take his tier 2 tower, things are looking pretty good. Hector sticks around for one more wave and then begins setting up a recall moments later. We've just arrived at the decision we'll be quizzing you on, so let's pause here. He just finished gathering some information for what he'll do next. Remember, as an ADC, you want to have a goal of where you're going ahead of time to maximize your efficiency in terms of pressure and farm. Here's the information you should pay attention to. First, look at everyone on the map and their positioning, both your teammates and your opponents. Then, take a look at their resources as well. What does their health, mana, and positioning tell you about what they're likely to do next? Before a recall, you should also generally look at your gold to see if you have a good purchase. At this moment, Kai'Sa's next item is usually Nashor's Tooth, which costs 2,000 gold to complete. He's 700 gold off, so he doesn't have the best base timing sadly. Also, remember that he's playing in SmurfQ, which we would classify as low-ish elo. Certain decisions are more acceptable in lower elo brackets due to the lower quality of gameplay. With all that information in mind, what do you think you'd do if you're him at this very moment? Finish recalling, or perhaps something else?
I might stay here. I can't really go to any other lane right now to farm. Talon's topside, so I can't even go farm his topside camps. Zoe's go mid. Sett just got back to top lane. So it would be a complete waste to base right now, considering I have nothing to buy. So I will just try to cheese.
So killing Ezreal is obviously just lucky there, since there's no way he'd know that his opponent would do that, but now after crashing that wave, Hector made a move toward mid lane, got some turret plates, and based with just enough gold for his Nashers. This was a pretty specific situation that you'll never encounter in your own games, but this kind of decision making is easily done when you break things down as we just did. The first is to always remember how awful rotations can be in low elo. Think about how many times you've taken the bot lane tower, tried to go top to break the next tower, but then your top laner just sits there instead of going bot. In lower elos, avoiding this is a nightmare, and in this case, Hector knew that a fresh full HP Sett and Zoe would be unlikely to leave their lanes with a clean rotation. We want to emphasize that this cheese he went for wasn't the only answer to the question though. The important bit was understanding the issues that he was facing. As long as your own decision was based on the criteria that we just discussed, then almost any plan would have been just fine here. Thankfully for him though, he got really ahead off of that cheese, and afterwards was in a prime position to carry the rest of the game due to the massive spike that he got when he based. Alright, on to our final example. This game he's on Ezreal and is fairly weak. He didn't stomp lane, so he's about as strong as a typical ADC would be at this stage of the game. Right now he's just passively farming mid, trying to get enough gold for Manamune so he can actually spike and be relevant. That is until he notices that there's a skirmish going on in bot lane that he could rotate to. Now, if you've watched an ADC guide featuring Hector before, you'd immediately think that he'll just stay mid and cross map or something. But no, he actually rotates to this side lane fight and happens to be able to pick up 2 kills. Not bad. With those shutdowns, he'll probably be able to start carrying soon. Which brings us to the next relevant point in this game. As he's setting up in mid again, he spots the enemy Lucian rotating toward top lane. Hector could respawn and follow to try and join the fight again in a very similar situation to the one that we saw before. But no, he instead chooses to cross map the mid lane tower like we just discussed. Based on what you've seen, can you tell us the reason for why he changed his choice this time?
So the difference between this rotation and the other one is that I can actually pressure this tower now. Like, if I couldn't pressure this tower, I'd rotate top and maybe see if I get something. It's not guaranteed. Like the other time wasn't guaranteed I get something right. But this time, I'm guaranteed to get this mid tower, which means that this rotation to maybe get something isn't worth it, if that makes sense.
So in a lot of guides we make featuring Hector, you'll often get the just cross map bro advice. He goes to the side lane, kills someone, then takes every tower, and that's super unrealistic, right? The lesson here is just to remember how strong you actually are in a game and whether you're capable of cross mapping at all. At this point in time, like we mentioned, he was quite weak. There's no way that he'd take the mid tower in 1 or 2 waves even if he committed to it. And dealing 60% of a tower's health isn't worth wasting your time over. A tower doesn't give you anything unless you actually kill it, of course, so it's just a waste of time. That's why he rotated during this one skirmish. It's not a great guaranteed play, but you can take these kinds of coin flippy plays when you don't have a lot of other great options. And this is definitely a typical situation you'll find yourself in as an ADC quite often. But if you're actually strong enough and in a position to cross map, then that's generally what we do recommend. You're leaving nothing to chance and you're putting a lot more pressure on the map than by RNG rotating to a fight where you have no idea how things will turn out.
So you might be asking yourself, why go to skillcap.com to improve when I could just watch YouTube guides or play the game? Well, let me show you. Let's say you're an AD carry who's struggling to climb the ladder. Not only would you get over 55 site exclusive courses for AD carry, but maybe really what you've been struggling with is wave control in bot lane. Well, we got you covered with 6 different courses breaking down wave control as an AD carry. Not only do we have the largest catalog of guides for League of Legends in the entire world with over 1,500 videos to watch, but these are then curated by the top coaches and players into courses on every skill and topic you need to master in order to truly improve and climb the ladder. If all of this wasn't enough, we haven't even touched on our catalog of over 700 Smurf commentaries. where a challenger expert shows you how to climb out of your rank, and you're guaranteed to get any questions answered by them directly. Not to mention, we're the only service to offer a rank improvement guarantee. If you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using Skill-Capped, you can claim a refund, no questions asked. So what are you waiting for? Head to Skill-Capped.com and get the rank you've always wanted. Link in the description below.
If we're being honest, there's an even bigger takeaway here though. The answer is to just never lose lane and always be 10-0 every single game. And the start to that is not failing to react to the most telegraphed Alistar combo of all time. And if you can't flash this obvious play, then there's a big problem and you should probably retire from any League content creation. Anyway everyone, that's going to wrap up this video. Let us know if you got most of these questions right, or if you even disagreed with some of the answers. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.